Welcome to Forked Up, your go-to podcast for all things GMOs, UFOs, and EVOO. I'm Matt Holloway.
And I'm Michelle Davis. Today we're talking about the story behind jerk spices, bacteria birthday cakes, and more picketing at Pepsi.
So stay tuned, y'all. It's about to get forked up. What the fuck is going on, everybody? Another episode of Forked Up coming to y'all hot this week. What do we got? What's going on, Michelle? What do we got on the menu?
This week we have our Smoky summer cocktail up on the website.
That's one of my favorite drinks.
Yeah.
If you like mezcal, I didn't even know what the fuck mezcal was for a long time. You got me into mezcal because I like tequila.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. So if you like that smokiness.
Yeah, and I mix it with cucumbers, so it really kind of balances out. It's both refreshing and a little smoky. And considering everything's going to be on fire for the rest of the year, you might as well just lean into it now. And then you made some food when you were back home.
I made a lot of food while I was back home. I was in Texas for about the last 2 weeks. The episodes that y'all saw, we pre-rolled before I left. You also took a trip. Did you cook at all?
No, I did not.
Well, your trip was a little bit shorter.
Yeah. And I was like at a little Airbnb. I was gone for 3 days.
You know, I've
been steady cooking here.
I do that thing where I get an Airbnb and I pack my knife roll like I'm gonna cook while I'm on vacation, like a fucking maniac. But then I get into somebody else's kitchen and I'm like, oh, no one cooks. Yeah. Like you don't have the pots and pans and like people don't have cutting boards. What the fuck is that about? What are y'all just cutting on the counter?
I stayed at an Airbnb one time. Or this was probably before Airbnb. I'm old. And it was just like they had a glass cutting board.
Oh, I've seen those. That's dangerous. I don't care for that one bit. That's violence.
Yeah, and the sound it makes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Don't care for it one bit.
But what did you make?
But yeah, I made a bunch of our recipes, but one recipe that I think we should share with the audience is the one pot pasta Primavera.
Yes.
That's a great summertime recipe right now because it has sweet corn, and it has basil, and it has tomatoes. These are all summertime ingredients that are very affordable right now. They taste great. They're all in season. What, like cherry tomatoes? Yeah. You got a photo pulled up. We'll throw the photo up. But yeah.
It's great. And you cook the pasta in with all the ingredients of the Primavera. So it's like extra creamy because you're not wasting any of that pasta starch that leaks out while you're cooking the pasta. So it gets a little thick,
That's the best part creamy. Is you don't have to put the spaghetti in another pot to cook the spaghetti. You put all the ingredients and broth and everything in there and you just throw the spaghetti in.
Yeah.
And you wait till that sauce just kind of disappears. Good to go.
There you go.
Yeah. So y'all check out the Smoky Summer Mezcal Cocktail and the One Pot Pasta Primavera up on our website, badmanners.com. And y'all aren't cooking anything right now.
Yeah.
So come on.
How was your trip? Speaking of old ass ingredients in a kitchen.
Oh, yeah. I shared with you. So my dad's spice cabinet was a little dusty, to say the least.
How dusty was it, man?
I started lining up the spices from most recent expired. They were all expired, but like, but from like most recent expired to like the oldest expired. And the oldest one I found was 2005. So a 16-year-old spice.
That spice can drive.
That spice has a driver's license.
For sure.
Yeah. But
that spice is probably sexually active.
Not anymore. They all went in the trash.
Ugh. Guys, if you're using 16-year-old spices to season your food is unseasoned. And
if I come to your house and I'm looking at your spices and you still have that little plastic like ring that has like the little measurements, that's the first. When I get spices, pop that shit off and never put it back.
No.
Yeah, that's true cooking.
Wow, that could be a piece of plastic that we just got rid of as society.
You don't need it.
No.
Either that or make it part of the glass bottle. Like make it permanent or just eliminate it together.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Yeah, we don't need it.
We don't need it.
Because if you have that on your spices, you're not cooking. I'll tell you that right now.
You're not measuring shit. You're not dumping shit out. Yeah. But yeah, that's a great reminder for everybody to maybe refresh some of your spices because your shit's not going to taste that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're buying, bargain basement spices where half of it is filler anyway per the pod last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. But yeah, what's been going on? You sent me the Chris Angel restaurant opened up and then immediately closed. What happened?
They're saying it's because of overwhelming demand, but it really sounds like they just weren't fucking ready and didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Was there like too many people?
Well, this is what they said. They were averaging 750 customers per day. I don't know. I don't know about that. They said additional staff, new refrigeration systems, and expanded kitchen are in the works. But the Eater article misspelled kitchen. Eater,
the fuck y'all doing?
Yeah.
It's literally like your whole thing. It's like just...
No, it's not. Yeah,
I used misspelled kitchen. What's his... They spelled the name of his restaurant correctly.
Which is an insane name of a restaurant. What is it? It's like Glip.
Cowblip.
Cowblip, yeah. And but they can't spell kitchen, and they're closing for 30 days while they make important changes. No shade to Chris Angel, all shade to Cowblip.
Well, and like also there may not like be. I don't know how many people are willing to drive out to the middle of the desert. I just came from the desert. It was 119 degrees.
No, thank you.
Yeah, drive in. 2 12-hour days between LA and Houston.
Yeah.
Would not recommend. But I do prefer, I think, I have to say, car travel is a lot more engaging than air travel.
Oh, for sure, because you don't have to space out. But some people...
Didn't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and you get to see a bunch of shit and like come upon stuff. Like, I don't know.
Driving through Arizona and like looking at the size of those boulders and like, when you're in a plane, all that shit looks microscopic.
Yeah.
And you're looking at it passing you on the road and you're like, that is larger than like a couple 18-wheelers. So, it's massive.
Yeah.
So you get to see a lot of cool shit.
I dated somebody who refused any type of car travel for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Real air snob.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, real air snob. And you grew up taking car trips.
Oh, for sure. I think
that makes all
that's
the
why,
difference.
I think that's why I have an affinity for it is because as a kid, we would take a lot of road trips. Yeah. My dad would like pack our family into this like giant yellow van. It's like old Chevy. And that's how we could afford to take vacations as a family.
Yeah. These fucks these days with their like watching TV and stuff. Like
kids got iPads.
I had to listen to some horrendous music over and over because we had like 3 cassettes. I couldn't read because I got car sick, and my mom would eat these cheddar and like peanut butter crackers, like the ones from the gas station and like the 6-pack, and she'd eat those. And like the smell to this day makes me fucking nauseous. And I had to just sit there for like, 8 hours and just stare out the window hoping I could die. And people are like, why didn't you play a Game Boy? We didn't have fucking Game Boys. We were broke.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we were broke too, and it's cheaper to put a family of 5 in a Chevy van when gas is 89 cents a gallon.
Back when we were crossing the plains.
That's what it was.
People who stand air travel, especially right now when it's such a clusterfuck, I don't get it. If you're an airhead, as we say.
Is that an industry term?
It's an industry term. Why the fuck? You can't even eat like people who bring all the food on the airplane, like, nah, dog, get in the car.
People will be boarding the plane with a whole chicken. Where'd you get that rotisserie in the airport? I didn't see that. Plus, I got to take Bosley.
The pictures he sent on the road were so fucking cute, guys. Of balls at all these rest stops. Like, look at this one.
I'm going to do a road trip. This is just me and Bosley and just photograph him.
Do it for the content?
Yeah, I don't know. He loved it. Like, stopping in these little, like, nothing towns that are like 30 miles off the interstate, and like, it was cool. I love road restaurants there's just one, and like, it's all locals.
But yeah, it's so cool to pull off the road and be like, hey, let's try this weird ass shit over here. Let's try this weird ass shit over there. Like, I got some of the biggest burritos of my life and it was fucking delicious at, what was it? Taco Temple?
Where is that?
Temple Taco. One of the two. It was in Morro Bay. There's a couple locations, but it was in Morro Bay, just right off the one. It's fucking delicious. Me and my girlfriend were there, and we're on the patio, and there was nobody around. Thank fucking God. But they brought out the burritos, and we're just like, what? I'm not joking. It was bigger than some children when they're born. And
getting your money's worth.
I ate that all day.
Oh,
It was breakfast, lunch, and it was fucking dinner.
That's good
like,
shit.
It was a beast. But it was so fun. And we pulled over at like the Madonna Inn in Slow. If you guys don't know it, look it up. It's wild. It's kitschy as fuck. Each room is like a weird, different theme. And we just like walked around for a hot sec. But you can't do that in a fucking plane.
You can't get it on a plane. You don't get, I got thunderstorms.
They don't even give you water.
I saw sandstorms.
Oh.
Dust devils.
Yes.
You don't get sunrises, sunsets. Maybe you get that in a plane, but it's cooler on the road.
One time when I was driving through Arizona and New Mexico, actually through Texas too, I've talked about it on the pod before. I pulled over at this truck stop to get some gas, and they had a Subway attached to the truck stop. It was gas, Subway, and a massage parlor.
So the Subway employee like makes your sandwich. You're like, yeah, I was going to get a massage. And they're like, hold up. And then they take the gloves off. They walk next door. They put gloves
I don't know.
on.
That massage parlor didn't have any windows. I was not going in there. And the sandwich I got from Subway, it was way off the books.
Lettuce sandwich.
It was way off the books. It was white bread, like sliced white bread, like Wonder Bread, canned mushrooms, and shredded iceberg lettuce.
Bleak.
And that was it. And they handed it to me, and I was like,
yeah.
Thanks.
Road food is tough, especially being plant-based.
How was like mask wearing and everything in Texas?
It was surprisingly good. Saw a lot of people wearing masks, but you can definitely tell like the people who are just like
nose out,
just not remotely interested in it.
So you had to dine out a little bit. Like, how was that? What do you think about all the proof of vaccination stuff for dining out?
Yeah. So they have been announcing while I was like coming back again, like we pre-rolled the last couple episodes a couple weeks ago. So since then,
New York is announced. San Francisco's announced.
Yeah.
I'm sure LA is right behind them.
Yeah, I'm sure by the time this airs, LA is probably announced. But like cases are going up, especially in Texas.
Florida, like it's wild.
And I met with a bunch of people who are friends, but they're restaurateurs, they're chefs, or people who are in the industry while I was in town. And, they're like, yeah, like I'm trying to protect my staff. I'm also trying to protect other patrons. Like even if you're an unvaccinated person, you come into my restaurant, a vaccinated person may bring coronavirus in here and give it to you, and then you're going to get it, but you're unvaccinated. They're vaccinated. They don't have no fucking idea that they have it. So, the hospitality industry is just that. It's hospitality. It's trying to take care of everybody. It's the industry of comfort, So in order for people to be, I think, dining in a restaurant comfortably and not have to worry about their safety
as much.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm for it. Yeah. I don't mind it if that's what it takes. If we have to go back to outdoor dining, I mean, like, I don't think that we're like on course to do like another full-blown lockdown. But
everybody needs to have some goddamn judgment.
Yeah, at this point, like we've tried the carrot. Might be time for the stick.
I'm all about tough love.
Like
fuck them up. Proof everywhere. I followed all the rules. I didn't see fucking anybody. Like, you know what I mean? It's about time that the people who refuse to do anything bear the brunt.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even want to wear a mask, let alone get vaccinated. So,
then stay home. Cool. Do whatever the fuck you want in your own yard. I don't give a shit. Live it up on your patio, you fuck. Like, I don't shut the fuck up.
But I do think that mandates are where we're going.
Yeah.
And that just might be half the way that it has to be, because as an employer in yourself, like, I'm going to tell anybody who walks through the doors of our office, you either have to be vaccinated or you have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
I threw a party while I was in Houston, and I said on the invitation, RSVP and send proof of vaccination. And I had people RSVPing being like, and I'm vaccinated.
Yeah.
I said, cool. Can I see your card? And guess how many people did not show up to the party because they didn't want to show their vaccination card? And like,
because it didn't exist.
And fun because everybody who did show up, they were vaccinated, and we were able to enjoy ourselves and relax, and it was small. It was like 20, 25 people.
If you're so proud to not get vaccinated, then don't fucking lie about it.
I don't see us going to another like full lockdown.
No. I do think that people are just gonna businesses are going to start nutting up and telling people to shut the fuck up and show me that you're vaccinated or stay the fuck home.
Yeah, and I think the conservative talking points are sort of like, oh, it's your freedom, do whatever you want, do your own research, is like that whole bullshit. I think that the powers that be, the people like the companies, the parent companies, these, faceless billion-dollar corporations saw what people working from home, saw a lockdown, saw businesses being closed, and that was disruptive because they were still making money. They just weren't making money as fast as they thought they'd be.
Yeah.
So they're now going to people like Tucker Carlson,
being like, shut the fuck up.
They'll be like, listen, dude, like, shut the fuck up. We own your entire station. If you want a job, get the fuck out in front of the cameras and tell people to get vaccinated. Yeah. So I think that's probably what's happening now, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, with that, let's get into some food history.
It is now time for This Week in Food History.
This some serious gourmet shit.
So, starting the series last week with saffron, I am now moving on to a new under-informed spice for most people.
We're sticking with spices?
We're sticking with spices for a little bit because I'm realizing...
Because I got rid of so many spices.
Because you did a spice purge. And I think there's just some spices that people really don't know anything about that are actually super, super interesting. So we did saffron last week. If you need to catch up, this week, we're doing allspice, baby. So allspice is a common ingredient in so many of your favorite spice blends like pumpkin spice or jerk seasoning, but lots of y'all have no fucking clue what it is.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
And like, I literally do this for a living. So.
And most people think allspice is a blend of itself. Like it is.
Yeah, I thought it was a bunch of other spices.
Yeah, it's like everything seasoning.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll make my own allspice, throw in some Landry's. That Cajun seasoning.
Landry's. Oh,
you know what I'm talking about.
The sodium on that is something else. Mwah.
That lemon pepper. What else we throwing in there?
Yeah, there you go.
Let's throw in a can of Axe. Just to keep it spicy. Axe is probably spicy.
Yes.
As far as deodorant goes, it's probably mild.
Well, allspice is the dried fruit of an evergreen shrub native to Jamaica, Central and South America. Most of the wild trees were cut down in the Americas, so it's kind of hard to find there. But the people of Jamaica protected their trees, and now Jamaican pimento, as it's known there, is considered the finest.
Is it like pimento cheese?
No. Okay. So the problem is when the Spaniards came, they thought it was pepper. So they called it pimenton, and then it got shortened to like pimento. And then
it just got bastardized.
Yeah. So it has all these different names. And, the Spanish have fucked it up. Like it's just, like they fucked up everything.
Barcelona.
Ugh, don't even get me started. So the name Jamaica comes from the word Jamaica, meaning land of wood and water in the language of the Arawaks, the indigenous people of the island of Jamaica. They used allspice to cure and preserve meats. The allspice cured meats were known as bucan. So later, when the Europeans cured meat this way, they came to be known as
Buccaneers.
Yeah, so it was buccaneers, and then eventually it morphed into buccaneers.
I have lots of useless information about buccaneers. I'll let you finish, but
no, go ahead.
Yeah, so buccaneers were like privateers on the island from like the English and the French, and then there's one more.
Probably Portuguese or Spanish.
Portuguese, yeah. But essentially these privateers were on the island and they were traveling between like the Carolinas and down to the Caribbean. But yeah, they were called buccaneers, and unofficially the crown and whoever else represented, where they came from was like, hey, we're not at war with Spain, but if you're down in the Caribbean, you see a Spanish ship, you go ahead and fuck them up. So that was it. That was buccaneers. They were essentially like unofficially
like mercenaries,
mercenary like pirates that like, and they were incredibly democratic. The crew would choose the ship that they were going to attack. And if the entire crew didn't agree, then they wouldn't attack that ship. The captain didn't have say. Now, the captain got paid more because they had more experience and more knowledge about the ship. But it was a very democratic system.
And the allspice, that they used to cure and preserve their meats they would smoke them using like the allspice leaves and all this stuff too. They learned all of that from the Arawak people of Jamaica. So there you go.
Yeah.
So
a little pirate and spice history for you.
There you go. And the Mayans used allspice when embalming their leaders. So this berry can do everything. The fruits are picked green and unripe, and then they're like traditionally dried in the sun. And when they're dry, they're all brown, and they kind of look like peppercorns. But you know how peppercorns are like a little wrinkly? These guys are smooth.
Oh.
So that's
how you can tell the difference between
exactly.
like pepper and allspice.
Yeah. So the name allspice was coined in the 1621 is when it's believed it was coined by the English, who valued it as a spice that combined the flavors of cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove. So that's why they allspice.
Throw a little Landry's in there.
And I was trying to
Little
figure
Axe
out
body spray.
what the Arwaks called it. And I couldn't figure out what it was called by the indigenous people.
Oh, by the native people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you guys know, leave it in the comments because I tried. It's a crazy versatile spice, which is key in dishes like Jamaican jerk, from Bavarian wursts. It's in Indian curries. It's in multiple Middle Eastern spice blends and desserts like apple pie and pumpkin pie.
Allspice is kind of slutty.
Like,
Allspice gets around.
yeah, name a spice who does more. Like, that's desserts. That's global cuisine, and it's a Jamaican evergreen berry.
You said it's in like pumpkin spice lattes too?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like allspice.
It's in most pumpkin spice blends, but it does not end there.
Okay.
Okay. In their war with Napoleon, Russian soldiers put allspice on their boots to keep their feet warm because, you know, it has like a warming kind of like if you put cinnamon or like, anything like that, like Tiger Balm. And they put it on their boots to keep their feet warm in the snow, but it also improved the smell. You know? And so now it is a staple in the beauty industry. And in fact, allspice oil is still associated with men's toiletries to this day. And it all started with the Russian army. Think Old Spice.
Old Spice.
Anything with the word spice, it's either pimento oil, it's allspice oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still like that masculine smell because it's directly associated with the Russian army and their defeat of Napoleon.
The Buccaneers were wearing Old Spice deodorant.
Yeah.
Is what the takeaway is here.
I mean, technically, they probably all smelled like allspice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Allspice is a little evergreen berry that can do fucking everything.
And we appreciate that. We appreciate versatility on this podcast.
Yes, we do.
We appreciate a multi-use item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have some allspice in your cabinet, fucking use it. Show some respect.
Michelle, that was a fascinating food history, but I have a fantastic.
I love when I do a bad smile. It's my favorite thing, guys, when I worked in customer service was to give just the work. Because, guys are always like, oh, why don't you smile more?
Smile more. You don't smile enough. Yeah. There you go. Deadpan. Yeah.
Gorgeous. And they're like, ugh. And I'm like,
yeah.
Keep it in your pants.
But I got a fantastic total recall. Let's get into it.
Have you brought any fruits or vegetables onto the planet?
Welcome to Recall.
Get ready for a surprise.
That's me getting out of my car in Arizona.
Oh, melting.
Just like sitting in your car and you got the AC going and you're fine. And then you get outside, it's 119 goddamn degrees. And it's just this wall of heat that you're just like, oh, just take my body. It doesn't matter at this point.
I'm already dead.
Yeah. I know it was my birthday last week while we were out of town, but
You didn't know.
Y'all didn't have to do a total recall for me.
Aww.
We got a birthday cake recall. This week, 16 people across 12 states have contracted E. coli from eating raw cake batter. 7 of those cases ended up in hospitalization, and one of those patients was diagnosed with liver failure, which is tough. Liver failure is pretty fucking bad.
What a way to go in the middle of a global pandemic from eating cake batter.
Yeah.
That's some bad luck.
Trying to celebrate and
they're just trying to celebrate Matt's birthday. These are loyal audience members.
I got 16 audience members who poisoned themselves.
There's blood on
and you
your
know
hands.
what? No, I know these weren't audience members because I guarantee you it was like the dairy or the egg.
Well, yeah, but if they're recalling the cake batter, there's something wrong with the cake batter.
Well, it's not even, so this is an interesting recall. There's not even a recall. The CDC, there's no one company that they're singling out. They're essentially just telling people, stop eating raw cake batter. If it's homemade, if it's store-bought, just stop because it's bad.
Unless it's a vegan.
You can taste this if it's vegan. It doesn't matter. You're not going to poison yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there is, like I said, there is no one company. The FDA advises consumers to not eat raw cake batter, even though it tastes sugary.
Tastes fucking delicious.
Yeah,
Let's
but
get real. I want to
stop.
lick them batters.
Yeah.
Nom, 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 nom.
And you need to cook your cake thoroughly. What if that's probably honestly?
Do you think there's some maniac who makes cake batter and like serves it with a boba straw?
Ugh. What a horrific. I'm gonna do the rest of the podcast solo. You can get out.
Yeah, I have to go in the corner.
See yourself out. You're done here. But yeah, so it is a combination of homemade and a combination of store-bought cake batters. And the FDA is just telling people, and CDC, just telling people to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, 75% of the patients are younger than 18 years old.
No, there was a birthday party.
As E. coli has more severe effects on kids. And that's a bummer because can you just imagine that you are going to a friend's birthday party, you know, maybe your parents are vaccinated, everyone gets tested.
You've spent a year without children.
You haven't seen your friends. You go to a birthday party and you eat some cake that you didn't make, somebody else made, and it just wasn't cooked all the way through. And then you wind up in the hospital with E. coli, and then bam, you got liver failure. As a teenager. Worst fucking pool party ever.
At least if my organs are failing as a teenager, let it be from binge drinking.
Yeah. If you're gonna do damage to internal organs, that's the best way.
That's the only way to go.
On purpose. I'm gonna destroy my lungs by smoking a pack of cigarettes every day, not because somebody didn't thoroughly cook a cake. That's a dumb way to go.
Yeah, it's a dumb way.
Hey, y'all. Are you sitting down? Are you slouching? Probably. Well, maybe it's time you start supporting your back like you support your aunt's Etsy store. Because you can only buy so many doilies before you're just enabling
You live that doily life?
hobby behavior. Love my aunt. I would never. We partner with All 33 to get you guys a solid deal on their game-changing chairs. The first time that we sat in one, we couldn't believe how comfortable they were. And now we have these chairs in our office. We have them here in our studio. Anyone who sits in them for the first time, they are just like, I don't get it. And it's like, sit all the way back. Just let the chair cradle you. And then they're like, ooh, yeah, that's good, isn't it? That's nice. Never felt a chair do that, huh? Till you took us. That's because their sit in motion technology gives you optimal lumbar support while effectively moving all 33 of your vertebrae for unsurpassed spinal support while you sit. Their chair practically cradles you as you move.
It's like the womb for your butt and back.
Yeah. And if you got a lot to work with back there, then these chairs.
And Matt does not speak from experience.
I don't have a lot. I'm all upper body. It's all upper body.
These chairs are reactive and supportive. The chairs relieve back pain and reduce the risk of even developing it. The seat saddle responds ergonomically to your every move, so you can't slouch. Like Matt was saying, you always maintain ideal posture. And I have scoliosis. It's been a problem my whole life. So sitting up straight is always a struggle. But I swear I could probably nap in one of these guys.
I was always kind of jealous. Like at school, they do that scoliosis test, and like every kid, like 90% of the class has scoliosis, and they got to me. They're like, "Oh, you just have poor posture."
Oh, you're just a lazy man.
Yeah, but not anymore with my All 33 chair. Y'all can go to all33.com today and use code FORKED at checkout for $100 off your order to get the last desk chair or office chair. What are they called now?
Both.
Gamer chairs.
Ugh.
However you sit, however you use it. This is the last chair that you're going to put in front of a platform.
Plus, they come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and lots of different colors in vegan leather. Again, that's all33.com with promo code FORKED at checkout for $100 off your new favorite desk chair.
We have seen a lot of vegan leather. This is quality stuff, y'all. I promise you're going to love it. You're not going to know the difference. Again, all33.com, promo code FORKED for $100 off the last desk chair that you're ever going to buy.
Stop slouching. So last week, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit Court, whoop, whoop. That's us.
Oh, is that I don't know.
ruled against the American Farm Bureau Federation and the National Pork Producers Council in their latest attempt to keep our state of California's Proposition 12 from taking effect this January 1st in 2022, which I also can't believe it's going to be 2022.
So that's a ton of like legal jargon.
Yes.
I don't even know that that's our representation. So what does that really mean?
So the Ninth Circuit Court is the highest court in this land before it would go to the Supreme Court.
Gotcha.
So they ruled on it. So they can appeal to the Supreme Court, but I doubt the Supreme Court would take their case. And Prop 12 is what was passed here in California in 2018. The legislation establishes a minimum space requirement for breeding pigs, veal, and egg-laying hens, and bans the sales of animal products from producers who don't meet those requirements.
Yeah, I thought that this sounded familiar. I knew it had something to do with pigs being able to essentially just turn around.
Yeah, so it was passed overwhelmingly by voters in 2018, but currently only 4% of the country's pork producers are in compliance with the law's, quote, stand-up turnaround requirements, which require pigs to be able to fully extend their legs, lay down, stand up, and turn around without bumping into another pig or touching the sides of the pen. You wouldn't think, this was so horrible, but only 4% of the country's pork producers can do this.
That's pretty horrific.
That's 96% of the country's pork cannot stand up and turn around.
I sat in a car for 4 days, 12 hours. And that seems cruel and unusual.
Yeah, exactly. So unless the courts intervene or the state temporarily allows like non-compliant meat to be sold in the state, California will lose almost all of its pork supply, much of which comes from Iowa. California currently consumes 15% of this nation's pork.
Wow.
So that's no small loss of a market for these producers. If half the pork supply was suddenly lost for California, bacon prices would jump 60%. This is according to a consulting firm hired by the opponents of Proposition 18. So with a grain of salt, but nonetheless, there is going to be a rise in pork prices. The pork industry keeps trying to challenge the law, but it's getting nowhere with all these lawsuits and public fucking complaining.
How fucking far have you fallen as a person if your job is to wake up every day and fight a proposition
to let pigs turn around?
To the Supreme Court saying, no, they don't get to stand up and turn around.
Yeah, exactly.
Your life fucking sucks.
And they're acting like they can't possibly comply.
Because they probably have to rebuild the whole fucking farm.
Well,
because
yeah,
they built it to be to have as many animals in a confined space and to turn them out as quickly and effectively as possible.
And before you think, we're just picking on like small pork producers, like that's not the case. Most of these are huge, multi-billion-dollar agribusinesses.
92% of pork production in the U.S. is owned by faceless, multi-billion-dollar corporations.
Yeah. So the California Department of Food and Agriculture said that although the detailed regulations aren't exactly finished, the key rules about space have been known for years. So basically they're like, shut the fuck up. Quote, it is important to note that the law itself cannot be changed by regulation, and the law has been in place since the Farm Animal Confinement Proposition Prop 12 passed by a wide margin in 2018, the agency said in response to questions. So they're like, hey guys, you knew this was coming. You haven't done shit. You thought it was going to get struck down. Shut the fuck up. Fix it or we're not going to sell your shit. So the industry is like scrambling to figure it out. And
good. Fuck them.
I think this means good news in time for the rest of the country too. Like analysts predict obviously that California pork prices are going to soar for a little bit. Where customers everywhere else aren't really going to notice anything. So if you don't live in California, don't fucking worry about it.
Doesn't affect you. Don't worry about it.
But eventually, California's new rules could become the national standard because processors can't afford to ignore such a big market, which is exactly why California is doing it. Same thing with the electric car thing. Like we're trying to set the standard to improve animal welfare and environmental regulations for the rest of this country.
Yeah, California is great at just making like the things that are going to come to your state in like 5 or 6 years. We did that shit almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
So get ready. Pork is going to be expensive. Was it worth it? Was it worth all those stupid fucking bacon memes?
I mean, it's not like one of us has a family member with a bacon tattoo. I'm not going to tell you which one of us.
It's my family. No surprise there. Which I'll call my cousin out. Yeah, he got the bacon tattoo, but he didn't wrap it all the way around.
He got
his
like
arm.
the barbed wire.
He got like the barbed wire like bacon.
But it's a bacon.
But he didn't do it. He didn't do it right here because you know why? That shit fucking hurts right here. Right here, like soft skin, pretty much.
We call
like
it
where-
his sissy spot.
Yeah. Right here hurts. Right here hurts. Yeah. Anywhere there's like soft skin. Yeah. So he didn't get it. I think that California should come up with like bullshit legislation every once in a while that like we pass here in California, but has no bearing on our lifestyle. That like other states then have to eventually adopt. Like there's just difficult states like Iowa,
North Dakota,
West
Virginia,
Idaho. Why y'all difficult? Why are y'all so fucking difficult?
Idaho. You're beautiful, but you're difficult.
God. It's hard to love you, but we do.
But we do. I mean, the Snake River, it's one of the coolest river names. Like, goddamn.
But yeah, we're just going to pass some legislation that's like, hey, if you're landlocked, you like, essentially you're out of the union. Oh, man. My news story this week is, I don't know if you saw this. So a few weeks ago, we talked about the Frito-Lay strike that employees are striking for better work conditions, pay, and hours.
And to not move workers.
Yeah,
Co-workers' dead
y'all
bodies.
might remember where we told there was a coworker who was asked by their manager to move the dead body of a fellow employee.
Some might say corpse.
Off of corpse, off of the floor, and so that Frito-Lay is owned by PepsiCo, and this week there is a new strike against Pepsi because truck drivers are striking for better healthcare because Pepsi is increasing their cost of premiums.
Okay. By like a little?
By quite a bit.
Okay.
At the bottling plant in Munster, Indiana, truck drivers are protesting PepsiCo's significant increase in healthcare premiums. Tom Albano, one of the members of the Teamsters Local 142, told the New York Times.
Shout out to Teamsters. By the way, they get shit
Dude,
done.
we're so fucking pro-union here.
Oh, man.
If for any reason, like our employees wanted to rise up and have a union against us, I'd join it.
You mean Boz?
Yeah.
Boz is going to rise up against
all 2-3 employees. But yeah, shout out to Teamsters. But so Tom Albano told the New York Times that PepsiCo will raise premiums almost 6 times what drivers are currently paying now by 2025. So just in the next 4 years, it's going to increase exponentially.
Wow.
Pepsi has stood by their offer, saying that it's fair, and one of the bargaining units ratified the agreement before the strike. But since striking, that unit has struck down and now supports renegotiating.
I'm going to ask a stupid question.
Sure.
So if the premiums are increasing by 6-fold in the next 4 years, are they increasing pay?
No, they're not. And I just have like some notes here in the podcast outline that so they're paying about $14 a week right now for healthcare premiums. By 2025, they'd be paying $81.
Okay, so it's more than $50 a month, which isn't terrible right now. I mean, I don't know what their wages are, but
no, right now they're paying less than $50 a month, but they would be paying $81 a week. Is what I'm getting at. That's quite an increase.
That's over $300.
Yeah. So Albano also told the Times, we shouldn't be paying for it in the first place. This is a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Damn right,
Tommy.
Tom. Damn right, Tom.
Come on the show, Tommy. Goddamn right. That's all you got to say. So this is we're the employees.
Yeah.
You're this giant.
Why do you need our $300 a month? Fuck you, PepsiCo. Okay.
The truck drivers also have the support of Indiana State Representative Mike Andrade, who added they need to not raise the premium. Maybe in a few years they can revisit it again, but at this time there shouldn't be any reason why they're wanting to raise the premium, especially coming from a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
In the middle of a global pandemic. Fuck you, PepsiCo. Love a state rep getting involved.
They should.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
should. Yeah. I'll mention this just again real quick in case y'all weren't paying attention a few episodes ago when we talked about the Frito-Lay strike. PepsiCo is the largest globally distributed snack food company here in the U.S. They make up about 40% of all savory snacks sold here in the U.S. and then 30% of non-U.S. market. Last year, in 2020...
The pandemic year, so
Pepsi,
remember.
Something happened last year?
Something happened. They were a little handicapped last year. What were their sales?
So, in 2020, PepsiCo's net revenue worldwide was approximately $70.4 billion.
But they are nickel and diamond some fucking truck drivers in Munster, Indiana.
For healthcare. Which, like... Yeah,
Don't you want these guys, like, to... like to use a saying, running on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Like,
Whatever, I'll give it to you. Fine. We have gotten emails and messages from truck drivers who they're not vegan, but they like cook our food on the road, or like, you know, their family will like pack it
when
for
they're
them,
home.
Like, yeah. And like, there was a really heartwarming email that we got from a guy who talked about just losing weight, just eating our food. He didn't change anything else. You know, a lot of truck drivers, they understand they have sedentary lifestyles. You're sitting in a car a lot.
Yeah, I got a cousin who drives rigs. Like, I get it.
Yeah, so like very pro truck driver, very pro union. Fuck Pepsi. Like,
fuck Pepsi all the way.
But
Nothing
also,
but love to Teamsters.
Yeah, like I think this highlights something that we can all agree that just healthcare in the US is broken. Like, whether you're wealthy or you don't have any healthcare at all, like you and I have great health insurance, and I fucking hate my health insurance.
Yes.
And we pay through the teeth for it.
Yeah, it's a pain in the dick. We picked it out, and it was the best we could do, and it's still a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Of a thing, and we pay for it, and we pay
a lot of money. It's like
if I didn't have one kidney, they would be taking the other one.
we got money from our first book deal, and didn't buy a house, didn't buy a car, got health insurance.
Oh my God. And people are like, oh, your skin's clear. Is it because you're vegan? It's like, no.
I can go to a dermatologist now. My mental health is better because I can afford therapy. I can afford antidepressants.
Yeah, and we write vegan cookbooks, and we can provide our 2 employees insurance. What's up, Pepsico?
Yeah, Pepsi. I mean, like, I don't understand what their reasoning is when they're
called greed.
They're
it's
at
called
max
greed.
profits. Like, justify it. Like, spell it out why you don't want to take care of your employees. Just
because
say it. Just stop pretending to care and just fucking say that
they
you don't want to
set.
do it.
They don't want to set a precedent and have to pay for it across the board, and then have it trickle into all their other companies and everything. But even then, like, it's going to be a drop in the bucket and way better press. But they don't give a fuck. So everybody keep talking about it, keep tweeting about it, give them the worst press possible. Fuck PepsiCo, fuck Frito-Lay, and all of the love to Teamsters.
Yeah. One thing when I was in Texas that I met with a lot of people, a lot of non-democratic voters.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot like, I think that we need to stop listening to the figureheads of each party, Democrats and Republicans alike, because the figureheads are telling us that we disagree with our friends, our coworkers, our neighbors, and that everything needs to be a fucking culture war. And I do not believe that, because when I sit down people who they vote differently than me in Texas, and we're just having a beer and we're talking about things that are important to us, there's a lot of common ground. 95% of the shit we agree upon. Well, we need to take care of our vets.
Part of the problem, yes.
We don't take care of our vets in this country. I think
we need to take care of our vets. We need to take care of our kids.
We need to take care. I don't have kids.
Neither do I.
I'm more than happy to pay for
good ass public schools,
public education, making sure kids are fed.
Can go to the doctor.
Yeah, like
can go to the dentist.
Those are just 3 things just right off the bat. Like veterans, education, and healthcare. I think that most of the country can agree upon can be better.
Yeah.
And we need to not get bogged down into these fucking fights on social media about like dumb culture wars about Dr. Seuss or like just stupid shit. Like that keeps them in power and does not help any of us.
Well, so much of the news is telling you what you should think, not actually delivering the news. That's on both sides of the aisle. That's either way.
Do we do that?
Yes.
Do we tell y'all what to think?
No.
I think we just sit here and we spit opinions.
But also, we're not pretending to be the news. We're commentators.
Yeah, we're pundits at best.
Yeah, but I'm not on ABC pretending to give you the nightly news while I'm actually giving you my fucking opinion.
What would you say that we're experts on that we could be like, no, professionally, like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is my...
About veganism?
Cooking.
Well, vegan cooking specifically.
Sure.
I don't want to...
Yeah.
I'm not going to step on any toes. I know my place. It's at the bottom of the totem pole. But yeah, fuck everybody. Make up your own mind and just be a decent person. And what else have we learned today?
That y'all should like and subscribe on YouTube.
And y'all need to stop eating raw birthday cake.
Yeah, stop eating raw cakes. You're going to have liver failure.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Did you work it?
We also learned that 16th century Buccaneers had better workplace representation than Pepsi employees do in 2021.
That's a historic burn, bitch. Allspice is just a single berry that can do all the things.
And we also learned that maybe putting bacon on everything was a bad idea.
Yeah, pigs should be able to turn around. Why is this a controversial opinion?
Your bacon memes are coming to bite you in the ass.
Aww,
Yeah.
a pig would never. Shout out to our producer, Caitlin Cleveland, who makes sure this podcast is in your feed and on your screens every single week.
I'm low-key irritated. Like, I look at the amount of listenership that we have, and then I look at our YouTube numbers. God damn it, guys.
Guys.
Go on YouTube, like and subscribe. I don't know. I don't want to have
Also,
to keep
who's the
repeating it.
motherfucker who's thumbs downing every video? It's just one person.
Oh.
And it's making me laugh really hard.
You know what? If it's only one, I'm fine with that.
It makes me laugh, though, because it's just like they're going in and they're like, I'm going to make sure they get their haterade for the day.
Yeah.
Me.
I could think just off the top of my head, there's probably a dozen people, dude. Probably. And that's the minimum. They're just too cowardly to like show themselves. I'll look in the back end. I might be able to see who it is.
You can also find us after you go to our YouTube to like and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Bad Manners Food, or email us at fu@badmanners.com. Where are our recipes, Matt?
All the recipes that we mentioned in this podcast, previous podcast. And if you just want to cook anything that we didn't mention, go to badmanners.com. But that is our show this week, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I am back on the road. I literally just came here to record this for y'all. Hope you appreciate it, because I'm out of here.
Stay hungry, keep cooking, and we'll see y'all next week.